With the Klan, I experienced something. When I was young, they visited my home. But this is a powerful woman, my mother. My mom immediately walked to the door, opened it, and handed him some candy. And this is what my mother used to say to me. You told me this much than once. I'm not even sure whether you recall. You stated, son, sometimes you have to be a lion so you can be the lamb you really are. Demonstrates how much superior things were in the 1940s. It wasn't good. It was evil. However, what took place? A change occurred. They were less criminals. Perhaps they were scared. I mean, violent lynchings killed 4,000 black men, women, and children. That's your justification. However, for hundreds of years, racial dread was ingrained in American society. Black America has gotten worse. Protests, vigils, and prayers are being held in support of a vile, repugnant, hateful, and lonely white guy. A young black male, age 21, was discovered lynched on his college campus. Dave Chappelle is exposing the hypocrisy of the public panic over Charlie Kirk's murder and delivering some harsh realities once more. We can all agree that nobody should be celebrating Charlie's passing, but it is unusual for someone who has never held public office to have his body flown on Air Force Two, flags lowered at half-mast, him lying in state, a statue of him in the Capitol, and him receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Contrast that with the complete hush surrounding the recent lynchings in Mississippi of homeless guy Corey Zucattis and college student Trey Reed, who were both discovered hanging from trees. Despite the fact that both deaths raise important issues, there has been almost no media coverage. Although the police were quick to say that there was no foul play, this certainly warrants more inquiry given Mississippi's history of lynchings and the current political atmosphere. But when it comes to determining whose lives are truly important, America has a double standard, as you are already aware. There has been a crazy outcry for Charlie Kirk. You name it. Social media, politicians, celebrities, and commentators. Everyone is contributing. Furthermore, people are even losing their jobs as a result of posting on social media that they don't care about Kirk's passing. I lost my job yesterday at 5 p.m. because I uploaded a video in which I stated, I don't care about Charlie Kirk's death. In the meantime, the two men's deaths in Mississippi hardly register. Chappelle is now inquiring as to what many of us are considering. Why are people being punished for not expressing grief over the passing of an overtly racist individual? The real lynchings of two black men are being ignored in the meantime. Two real-life lynchings of men are being ignored in the meantime. In this video, we discuss how Mississippi is subtly attempting to revive lynchings and why you should pay attention to what the media isn't telling you. So if you're sick of people telling you that Charlie Kirk's death is the only thing that matters, stay tuned. What must it have been like for anyone in the 1960s? Did 8 or 9 assassinations take place? What impact does that have on a generation that has experienced that and known those individuals? I am this person. I suppose I would still be upset. Like any other loss of human life, Charlie's situation is viewed by many as tragic. However, we cannot overlook the fact that America is actively eradicating the legacy of white supremacists. A day after Charlie Kirk's passing, U.S. Congresswoman Nancy Mace declared she would file a resolution allowing him to lie in honor in the Capitol Rotunda. Trump also ordered the U.S. flags to fly at half-staff in his honor. Mace posted on X, "We will be introducing a resolution authorizing Charlie Kirk to lie in honor in the Capitol Rotunda should the Kirk family wish for him to be honored there. Charlie Kirk dedicated his life to protecting our country's freedoms. He never faltered in his defense of the First Amendment, inspired millions, and brought many souls to Christ. He is especially deserving of this honor because of his legacy. The Republicans' desire for Charlie Kirk to lie in honor at the Capitol is absurd. Let's take a moment to discuss this. Only a few number of private citizens have been honored by lying in honor at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda, typically in recognition of valiant service or exceptional national accomplishments. Rosa Parks is one of them. Now, they're actually saying that Charlie Kirk ought to receive the same recognition as Rosa Parks. This man systematically undermined marginalized populations, called civil rights a mistake, and propagated white supremacist ideologies throughout his career, denounced the 1964 Civil Rights Act as a grave error. That's right. Thus, this is merely nationwide gaslighting. They are essentially telling the people that a person who flourished off of hatred should be honored alongside heroes who genuinely put their lives in danger to uphold the rule of law. This is when things become even more bizarre. J.D. Vance personally escorted Charlie Kirk's casket when it was flown back from Utah to Arizona on Air Force Two. They even forced the military honor guard to carry Kirk's casket, as if that weren't strange enough. This infuriated many, including veterans who referred to it as an insult and a shame to all those who have served the nation. According to one ex-user, Black soldiers must look at that task with a bit of nausea. Charlie Kirk stated that if the pilot was Black, he would rather not fly. That's only a small portion of Kirk's hatred. Another said, "It's unfortunate that Charlie Kirk's casket is being carried by the Air Force Honor Guard. The American people deserve an explanation from the Pentagon. Charlie Kirk did not serve. He caused division, propagated hatred, made fun of veterans, and died for it. Service isn't being honored here. Sacrifice is being politicized. All of the fallen soldiers are being insulted by this." And once more, we're discussing a man who claimed that before the Civil Rights Act was enacted, Black people had it better. Additionally, without affirmative action, Black women lack the cognitive capacity to be taken seriously. It merely proves that they were superior in the 1940s. It wasn't good. It was evil. However, what took place? A change occurred. They were less criminals. Affirmative action was used to choose Joy Reid, Michelle Obama, Sheila Jackson Lee, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. We would have been referred to as racists. However, they are now coming out and speaking for us. As they come out, they claim that affirmative action is the sole reason they are here. Yes, we are aware. You lack the mental capacity to be taken seriously in any other situation. To be taken seriously, you had to go take a white person's slot. Play clip 52. Black people are being pulled into all of this at the same time when they are merely attempting to go about their Black lives. For allegedly celebrating Kirk's murder, they are being held accountable, used as scapegoats, and even subjected to punishment. Like the Texas student who was expelled for making a joke about Kirk in a private chat that was caught on tape. People are being attacked online and losing their jobs because they didn't support a man who publicly stated that civil rights were a mistake. Take a moment to process that. We are being duped into thinking we should care, in addition to having to see this enormous state-sponsored mourning parade in support of someone who opposed everyone who wasn't a straight conservative man. That we are the issue if we don't all join together and grieve in the same manner. Let's discuss what isn't being covered while all of this circus is going down for Charlie Kirk, because two young guys were discovered, hanging from trees in Mississippi while the country was preoccupied with the death of a white nationalist. Among them was Damar Trayvon Trey Reed, a 21-year-old Black student at Cleveland, Mississippi's Delta State University. The other was a 36-year-old Caucasian man who was homeless in Vicksburg, named Corey Zucadis. Both murders had far too many strange details to be dismissed, and they occurred the same week as Kirk's murder. Authorities claim a faculty member discovered 21-year-old Damar Trayvon Trey Reed's body hanging from a tree close to the pickup ball courts. As soon as word got out, students and others on the Cleveland campus became anxious. As a Black student, I must say that hearing that another Black student had experienced that made me feel extremely unsafe. I enjoy walking on the track, but it would be burdensome to know what happened. I do have to walk to class. State and local investigators began investigating the event right away. Investigators did not find any evidence, according to DSU police head Michael Peeler. Authorities were far too eager to declare that Trey Reed's case was free of foul play, but his family doesn't believe it, and is calling for an independent autopsy since the official version of events doesn't line up. And Reed's family members are demanding a comprehensive probe. Do your study on this, please, please, please. Don't allow them to ignore anything else. Enough is enough. The situation of Corey Zucadis is likewise questionable. There is no public information regarding the precise circumstances of his death, despite the identical approach and time. The police have verified that they found a man's body hanging from a tree in a very forested region outside the Amerist Star Casino, according to Yahoo. The body was identified by the coroner as that of Corey Zucadis, and Warren County Coroner Doug L. Husky verified his death. According to Husky, Zucadis was found on Monday, September 15th at approximately 10:30 a.m., but no other details were disclosed by the police. However, given that Corey was located mere hours before Trey Reed's body was uncovered, the timing is highly dubious. In 2025, same week as Kirk's assassination, and both have way too many suspicious details to just write off. Authorities say the body of 21-year-old Damar Trayvon Trey Reed was found hanged from a tree by a faculty member near the pickup ball courts. Word spread quickly throughout the Cleveland campus, leaving students and others concerned and worried. Well, because I am a Black student, hearing that happened to another Black student, it really made me feel, it's make me feel unsafe. I do have to walk to class, and I like to go walk on the track, and it would be heavy to know what happened. Local and state investigators immediately started looking into the incident. DSU Police Chief Michael Peeler says investigators found no evidence. Now, authorities were quick. Too quick to say that there was no foul play involved in Trey Reed's case. But Trey's family doesn't believe it, and they're demanding an independent autopsy because the official story isn't adding up. And members of Reed's family are insisting on a thorough investigation. Please, 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 please do your research on this. Do not let them sweep nothing else under the rug. Enough is enough. And then Corey Zukatis' case is also suspicious. Same method, same timing, and yet no public information about the exact circumstances of his death. According to Yahoo, the police just confirmed they discovered the body of a man hanging from a tree in a densely forested area off the Ameris Star Casino. The coroner identified the body as Corey Zukatis, and his death was confirmed by Warren County Coroner Doug L. Husky. Husky just said that Zukatis was discovered on Monday, September 15th, about 10:30 a.m., but the police released no further information. But the timing is extremely suspect because Corey was found just hours before Trey Reed's body was discovered. You have two hang-ins in Mississippi in 2025 within hours of each other, right? When Charlie Kirk supporters are trying to incite a civil war. Is it really just a coincidence? Well, that's up to you to decide. But what we do know for a fact is that the mainstream media is deliberately ignoring the story about these two men from Mississippi, while flooding us with coverage about Charlie Kirk. Now, Corey Zukatis was white, but he was also homeless. And that's important to keep in mind because do you know who recently suggested that homeless people should be executed with lethal injection? Fox News host Brian Kilmeade. That's right. This man went on national TV and said that we should just start eliminating the homeless. And get this, he said that just 2 days before Corey Zukatis' body was found, billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now. Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them. Yeah. Brian, why did it have to get to this point? Right, I would say this. We're not voting for the right people in North Carolina. Wake up. So, when Brian Kilmeade says that we should get rid of the homeless with a lethal injection, he's talking about Americans, veterans, trauma survivors, the most vulnerable people in this country. And he's directly calling for state-sanctioned execution instead of housing, healthcare, or compassion. And yet they want you to be fired from your job for making a joke about Charlie Kirk. And that's exactly the kind of hypocrisy Dave Chappelle is calling out. It's the same type of hypocrisy Dave talked about after the Capitol riots when he compared it to the backlash Colin Kaepernick got. Yeah, we're living in very dark times, y'all. On one hand, you have America turning Charlie Kirk into a saint. And on the other hand, you've got two men found hanging from trees in Mississippi, one of them a young black student, and the whole thing barely makes it on the national radar. And when people say the system is broken, nope, the system is doing exactly what it was designed to do. But there's literally psychological warfare being waged upon us. So don't let the media, the politicians, or the so-called influencers gaslight you into believing you're crazy for noticing this. And let me know in the comments how you feel about everything that's been going on lately. Why is Charlie Kirk's death treated like a national emergency while Trey Reed and Corey Zukatis are erased before the story even gets told? Why is grief mandatory for someone who called civil rights a mistake, but it's non-existent when Black and poor folks are literally being lynched in 2025? What does that say about where this country is headed? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this conversation needs to happen, and they're sure not going to have it on News Nation, CNN, or Fox News.